Thanks for watching. This is True Crime Stories.
It is early evening in Oil City, Pennsylvania, in October 1992. Autumn air moves through narrow streets lined with modest homes and corner stores. Street lights flicker on as children head home before dark. 11-year-old Shauna Howe leaves a Girl Scout meeting on October 27th. She begins walking toward her house. It is a short distance. She does not arrive. By nightfall, her family knows something is wrong. Shauna is familiar with the route. The neighborhood is one where people recognize each other's faces. When she fails to return, relatives and neighbors begin searching immediately. A routine walk becomes a missing child alert. Oil City is a small community in Venango County, shaped by its history as an early center of the oil industry. In 1992, it is a place where children walk to meetings and parents expect them home within minutes. When Shauna does not appear, concern spreads quickly. Police are notified. Officers canvass the area between the Girl Scout meeting location and Shauna's home. They knock on doors. They ask residents whether anyone saw a vehicle, heard a disturbance, or noticed something unusual. Flashlights sweep over yards and along sidewalks. Hours pass. The next day, October 28th, 1992, Shauna Howe is found unalive in a wooded area near the Allegheny River, not far from where she had been walking. A small town becomes a homicide investigation. Pennsylvania State Police join local officers. The area where her body is found is secured. Evidence is collected. Forensic samples are preserved. Detectives begin constructing a timeline of her final movements. Witnesses report seeing a man speak to Shauna as she walked home the previous evening. Some describe a small vehicle in the area. Investigators pursue tips. Sketches are prepared. Names surface, then fall away. A case file opens. It does not close. In the early 1990s, forensic technology is limited compared to what will be available decades later. Biological evidence collected at the scene is preserved, but testing capabilities are still developing. Detectives rely heavily on interviews and community information. 3 local men eventually come under suspicion in the years following the crime. They are interviewed. They are not charged. The case stalls. Oil City continues with its routines. Children grow older. Families move in and out of houses along the same streets Shauna once walked. But her name remains present in conversations and annual memorials. An unsolved case becomes part of the town's identity. In the early 2000s, advances in DNA testing offer new possibilities. Evidence preserved from 1992 is re-examined using improved forensic techniques. Pennsylvania State Police reopen the investigation with renewed focus. A sample produces a match. In 2005, more than 12 years after Shauna Howe's death, 3 men are arrested: James Adkins, Scott Bosarge, and Kevin Osborne. Investigators allege that the men abducted Shauna as she walked home, assaulted her, and left her in the wooded area where she was later found. The arrests come after DNA analysis links evidence from the scene to one of the suspects. Additional statements and testimony help prosecutors construct a case against all 3. A file that had gathered dust returns to court. In 2006 and 2007, the men are tried separately in Venango County. Prosecutors present forensic evidence, witness testimony, and statements given by the defendants over the years. The defense challenges aspects of the investigation and the credibility of certain witnesses. The juries deliberate. Each man is convicted of charges, including first-degree unaliving. Life sentences are imposed. A conviction arrives more than a decade after the crime. For Shauna Howe's family, the verdicts mark a formal acknowledgement of responsibility. For Oil City, the case shifts from unsolved to adjudicated. The legal process continues beyond sentencing. Appeals are filed and reviewed. Courts examine procedural issues raised by the defense. The convictions are upheld. In Pennsylvania, at the time of sentencing, individuals convicted of first-degree unaliving are not eligible for parole. Years later, national legal decisions reshape how life sentences are applied in certain contexts, particularly for juveniles. One of the convicted men had been under 18 at the time of the crime. Legal challenges emerge regarding sentencing standards and parole eligibility. In 2019, a federal court orders that Kevin Osborne be resentenced in accordance with updated legal standards for juvenile offenders. The resentencing allows for the possibility of parole after a minimum term. A case once defined by delay enters a new legal phase decades later. The other two men remain serving life sentences. Shauna Howe's name continues to appear in court documents, appellate opinions, and memorial events in Oil City. Each October, community members gather to remember her. The route she walked in 1992 is no longer just a path between a meeting and a house. It is part of the town's record. Police reports from 1992 sit alongside laboratory results generated in the 2000s. Trial transcripts preserve testimony about that evening in October. Sentencing orders record life terms imposed years after the original investigation. The wooded area near the Allegheny River remains accessible land. The streets near the Girl Scout meeting still carry traffic at dusk. Children still walk home from activities under streetlights that come on before night fully settles. What remains is an abduction that interrupted an ordinary walk, a cold case revived by advances in DNA testing, and convictions secured more than a decade after the crime. Oil City continues to function as a small Pennsylvania town, but October 27, 1992, remains a fixed date in its history. An 11-year-old left a meeting and never made it home. A community waited. Science eventually answered part of the question. The rest lives in memory.